Have you ever wondered who elderly people should live with, and whether that choice could actually impact their health and even how long they live? It might sound simple, but it's not just about having company or saving money. It's about trust, comfort, and whether the people around you truly make you feel like yourself. After 70, life's daily rhythms shift. Your energy changes. You see more clearly what truly matters and what doesn't. Suddenly, something as ordinary as who sits across the kitchen table becomes one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. Some older adults find a deep sense of peace living alone. Others feel their best when someone is nearby, even if it's just for shared laughter, warm meals, or a helping hand to reach the top shelf. The real question isn't simply whether you should live with someone, but rather, who makes life feel more supported, more manageable, and more meaningful? In this video, we're going to explore 6 types of people older adults often choose to live with, and why certain living arrangements can work so well. These aren't just practical decisions. They're emotional, deeply human choices that shape how safe you feel, how much freedom you enjoy, and how connected you remain to the world around you. Stay with me until the end, because you might discover a new perspective on the kind of living situation that could bring you more peace, not just for today, but for the years to come. Number 1. A caring adult child who respects your independence. For many older adults, moving in with a grown son or daughter feels like the most natural next step, especially when health concerns or mobility challenges begin to appear. When this arrangement is built on trust, love, and open communication, it can become a source of comfort rather than a loss of freedom. It can be a beautiful arrangement when daily help is always within reach. You don't have to worry about hauling groceries, finding a ride to the doctor's office, or sitting through long stretches of quiet loneliness. But there's one word that matters more than anything else in this setup: respect. Too often, older parents move in with their children only to find themselves slowly pushed into the background. Their routines are changed without discussion, their opinions brushed aside, and bit by bit, they begin to feel less like a parent and more like a guest in someone else's home. That's why what truly matters in this living arrangement isn't blood, it's balance. If you have an adult child who understands your need for personal space, still sees you as capable and wise, and includes you in household decisions without making you feel like a burden, the experience can be deeply comforting. You gain the peace of mind of knowing someone is there to help if you fall, feel unwell, or simply need an extra hand. But just as importantly, you hold on to something that is priceless: your dignity. I remember a woman named Linda, age 78, who moved in with her daughter after a bad fall. She admitted, "I was nervous at first. I thought I'd lose myself. But my daughter asked me where I wanted the furniture, asked what time I liked my tea, and even handed me a house key like it was mine too. That made all the difference." Her story is a reminder that small gestures of inclusion can make a shared home feel truly yours. Of course, this kind of arrangement isn't perfect for everyone. Sometimes personalities clash. Sometimes the house feels too noisy, too crowded, or simply not the right fit. But if your adult child is patient, emotionally mature, and genuinely committed to supporting you rather than controlling you, the result can be something rare. A household where you feel both safe and truly seen. And that's a kind of home that no amount of money can buy. Number 2. A dependable sibling or close relative with shared history. There is something uniquely comforting about living with someone who has known you for most of your life. It could be a sibling, a cousin, or even a lifelong family friend. They're not just there to help with meals or medication. They know the person you were before the years added their weight, before life became complicated with responsibilities and routines. They remember your stories, your laughter, and even your old habits. They've been there in seasons of joy and in moments of hardship. That shared history can bring a kind of emotional ease no hired caregiver or casual roommate could ever match. When older adults share a home with someone from their own generation, someone who understands the same cultural references, the same music, the same milestones, there's a level of comfort and familiarity that feels like slipping into a well-worn sweater. When you live with someone who shares the same cultural references, remembers the same presidents, or grew up with the same family traditions, there's an unspoken bond that forms. It creates an environment of deep mutual understanding. You don't have to explain your jokes, your habits, or your memories. They simply get it. You don't need to perform or put on a face. You can simply be yourself, fully and comfortably. I once met two sisters, Ruth and Elaine, ages 80 and 83, who had both outlived their spouses. Rather than moving apart into separate places, they decided to live together again, just as they had back in their 20s. Ruth laughed as she told me, "We bicker over silly things like the thermostat, but at the end of the day, no one else knows me like she does." That small comment said so much. It wasn't about avoiding conflict, but about having someone who knows you so deeply that even the disagreements feel safe. This kind of arrangement isn't about dependence. It's about companionship. Yes, it helps with practical needs, like sharing household chores or keeping each other company during errands. But more importantly, it soothes the quiet ache of feeling unseen or misunderstood. It's a daily reminder that you still belong to someone, that there's still a person in the world who sees you exactly as you are, not just as an elderly person in need of help. For many seniors, that feeling of being truly known, of sharing meals, old stories, and even comfortable silences on CC is more valuable than any luxury retirement plan. Emotional connection is priceless, and for some, it's the single greatest gift of later life. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below so I know you're here. And if you haven't already subscribed, I encourage you to do so and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. Your support allows us to keep creating helpful, inspiring content that matters. Number 3, a fellow senior or trusted friend. As a roommate, more and more older adults are choosing a middle path, not living alone, but also not living with family. Instead, they're pairing up with friends, former coworkers, or other seniors who share the same vision for this stage of life: connection without obligation. These arrangements aren't about caregiving in the traditional sense. They're about creating community. Two people share space, expenses, and conversation, while still maintaining their own routines, privacy, and independence. For those who have lost a spouse or never married, this kind of living situation can feel especially meaningful. It keeps the home from feeling too quiet. It brings the sound of laughter into the kitchen, and it allows both people to age on their own terms, while still knowing that someone is nearby if they need a hand, or simply a friendly face across the breakfast table. Living side by side but not entangled, there's something profoundly human about having someone to greet in the morning, even if the rest of your day is spent in your own space. That simple "good morning" can feel like an anchor, a gentle reminder that you are not alone in the world. For many, just knowing there's another soul nearby can be the difference between quiet isolation and a sense of daily stability. I think of two friends, Marvin and George, who met at a community center. Both had recently faced health scares, and after a few long talks, they decided to move in together. Marvin explained it simply: "We split the groceries, take turns making coffee, and give each other space when we need it. It's not complicated. It's just comfortable." Of course, compatibility matters. Choosing the right person means finding someone who shares your values, whether it's about cleanliness, communication, or the importance of quiet. But when that fit is right, the rewards go far beyond splitting bills. You create an environment where each person gives the other a sense of purpose, not through caregiving, but through steady presence, day after day. And in a world where many older adults feel invisible, that presence can be quietly healing. It's a reminder that you're still part of something shared, that your life, your thoughts, and your laughter still echo in someone else's daily rhythm. Sometimes that connection alone is all the medicine you need. Number 4, a younger relative or helper who offers mutual support. In some cases, the ideal living arrangement isn't with someone your own age at all. It's with someone a generation or two younger, someone who brings fresh energy, practical help, and a different perspective. This could be a grandchild, a niece or nephew, or even a trusted young adult who isn't family by blood, but is bound to you by mutual respect and care. What makes this dynamic work isn't the age gap, it's the agreement. Both sides understand that they bring something valuable to the table. In many arrangements, the younger person receives reduced rent or even free housing in exchange for helping with errands, transportation, or household upkeep. In return, the older adult gets to remain in their own home for longer, with greater comfort, safety, and peace of mind. There's also something emotionally uplifting about being around someone younger. Their music, their stories, their pace of life, it can bring a sense of renewal, breathing fresh energy into familiar routines. Not because you have to keep up with their pace, but because you get to see life from a completely different angle. Sometimes, that's all it takes to shake off the fog of routine and feel a spark of freshness in your days. I remember meeting Janice, an 82-year-old who opened her home to her grandson's friend, Daniel. He was just 26, working night shifts while saving money for school. Daniel helped with groceries, shoveled the walkway after snow, and even fixed the Wi-Fi pole whenever it decided to act up. Janice told me, "He doesn't hover and I don't nag. We simply exist kindly next to each other." And that, she said with a smile, was the beauty of it. When this kind of arrangement is built on clear boundaries and mutual respect, it can bring far more than convenience. It creates space for genuine warmth, laughter, and even joy. You exchange stories from different eras, trade life skills, and build a home grounded in generosity rather than obligation. Of course, trust is the foundation. Setting clear expectations for both sides, ideally in writing, ensures that everyone understands their role and feels comfortable. And here's the part many overlook. This setup isn't just about receiving help. You're also giving something meaningful in return. Wisdom, guidance, companionship. That's a kind of value no paycheck could ever match. If you're still watching this video and find these insights helpful, please comment number 4 below so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you do, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. Your support allows us to continue creating content that informs and inspires. Number 5. A professional live-in caregiver for daily assistance and peace of mind. There comes a time in life when even simple, everyday tasks, bathing, cooking, managing medication, can start to feel heavier than they once did. And when that happens, having the right person by your side can change everything. While friends and family may do their best to help, they're not always trained, available, or fully equipped to handle the demands of daily care. That's where a professional live-in caregiver can make all the difference. Their value goes beyond simply providing physical support. They bring the reassurance of knowing that someone with the right skills is there, day in and day out, to ensure your safety and comfort. These caregivers are not just helpers. They are trained observers who notice the little things others might miss. They can recognize early signs of infection before they become serious, assist with movement in ways that avoid pain or injury, and keep your environment both safe and steady. For many older adults, this creates a calm, consistent foundation that even frequent visits from relatives can't quite match. But perhaps the most overlooked benefit of having a live-in caregiver is the relationship that can form over time. When there's mutual respect, kindness, and a sense of consistency, the arrangement can grow into something quietly beautiful, a shared daily rhythm that feels dignified rather than dependent. I recall Edward, an 84-year-old who resisted the idea for years. Eventually, he welcomed Maria, a caregiver in her 50s, into his home. Just 2 months later, he told me, "She doesn't just make sure I take my pills. She listens. She treats me like a person, not a checklist." For him, that small difference meant the world. Of course, this arrangement requires thoughtful planning. Financial considerations, agency support, and thorough background checks are essential. But for those living with chronic conditions or limited mobility, a professional caregiver can significantly reduce the risk of emergency visits, extend the ability to remain at home, and give family members a sense of peace they didn't realize they needed. It's not a surrender of independence, it's a redefinition of it. Sometimes, the strongest choice you can make isn't to handle everything alone, but to invite someone in who can help you live better. With skill, compassion, and respect, they can protect your health, support your daily life, and honor your right to feel safe and at ease in your own home. Number 6. A compatible person who honors your rhythm, not just your needs. At the core of every truly successful living arrangement lies one simple truth. The best person to share your home with isn't always who you expect. It's not just about family ties. It's not just about finding someone who can lift heavy boxes or drive you to appointments. It's about how that person makes you feel in your own space. Do they respect your need for quiet? Do they speak to you as an equal? Do they let you be fully yourself? Or do you constantly feel like you're bending to fit their way of living? Sharing a home in your later years means sharing far more than just meals or household bills. It's about sharing mornings, moods, energy levels, and all those subtle in-between moments that make up daily life. And if the person you live with doesn't understand or respect your natural rhythm, whether it's your bedtime, your prayer time, or your afternoon quiet, then each day can begin to feel like a slow erosion of comfort and peace. But when someone does honor your rhythm, everything shifts. The tension fades, you breathe more deeply, you laugh more easily, and you feel a steady sense of safety. Most importantly, you still feel like your home belongs to you. I remember Joseph, a 79-year-old man who shared his home with his neighbor's daughter, a woman in her early 40s. She helped with grocery runs and cooking in exchange for a private room. But what stayed with him wasn't the assistance, it was her attitude. She never hovered, never pushed, and never treated him like a project. "She knows I like my breakfast in silence," he told me. "She doesn't talk over my baseball games, and when I nap, she checks the door is locked, then quietly disappears. That's how I know I can trust her." That kind of harmony doesn't come from titles or family ties. It comes from temperament. It's the quiet understanding that your way of living matters just as much as theirs. So, whether you're thinking about living with a child, a cousin, a friend, or someone completely unexpected, remember this. The right person is the one who notices without being told, who adjusts without resentment, and who leaves you feeling not only cared for, but truly understood. If you're still watching and finding value in these insights, comment number 6 below so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. Your support allows us to keep creating thoughtful content to inform and inspire you. Final thoughts. Your journey, your decision. By now, you've seen just how many possibilities exist when deciding who to live with in later life. And maybe I realized something important. There's no single answer that works for everyone. The best living arrangement isn't always the most obvious or traditional choice. It's the one where you feel respected, where your needs are met, and where your sense of self remains intact. For some, that means thriving in a warm, multi-generational home. For others, it's finding peace in the familiar company of an old friend. And for many, it's having a steady presence nearby, someone who understands when to step in and when to step back. What truly matters isn't the title or label of the person you live with. It's the quality of the relationship you share. Think about your values, your daily energy, your personal boundaries. Then ask yourself, who in your life could complement those things rather than challenge them? Because a home is more than just 4 walls and a roof. It's that deep, unshakable feeling you get when you walk through the door and know you can finally exhale. And if no one in your current circle feels like the right fit, don't lose hope. There are now more possibilities than ever before. Senior co-housing communities, roommate matching programs, in-home companion services, and intergenerational housing networks that connect people across different ages and experiences. The key is to remain open, curious, and honest about what you need, and brave enough to ask for it. A truly good living arrangement after 70 isn't about giving up your independence. It's about finding the kind of support that allows you to keep it for as long as possible. You deserve a space that feels truly yours. You deserve relationships that feel steady, reliable, and nourishing, and most of all, you deserve to feel at home, in every sense of the word. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below sharing one thing you learned from this video and how you plan to use it in your own life. Your thoughts truly matter to us, and reading your comments gives us the motivation to keep creating. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit. Your support helps us continue bringing you meaningful content to inform and inspire. Wishing you good health, happiness, and peace always. And remember to subscribe to our channel so you never miss what's coming next.